Hey guys, we're about ready to get started. We're not going to use microphones. We're going to be working a lot in the workbooks that we're about to hand out. In the meantime, can we all kind of squeeze up and in as much as possible? It'll make it easier. I want to make sure everyone can hear us, and we're going to have a few conversations. So fill up these front rows. If you're on the outside, you got empty seats on the inside of you. Crunch it in, make room. Meet some new people. Here, I can take those extras. Everyone have a workbook? So you guys have back here? You got an extra one? All right, all right. Thank you, sir.
Grab mine. See on this chair.
It might be underneath my binder.
Yeah. Good to go? All right. All right, guys, welcome to the recruitment benchmark session. A little bit behind schedule. Starting about 15 minutes late here, so we're going to run through this stuff at a fast pace. And we're going to need you guys to be on point, be attentive. And it's actually not such a bad thing. It's a little bit of a blessing in disguise, but that's exactly how you're going to need to be if you want to be successful in recruitment. So to start off, we'll introduce ourselves. My name is Kevin DeLee. I'm a 2007 initiate at the Kappa Omega chapter at University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. Graduated in 2011, and I served the fraternity for years as chapter consultant, traveling the Pacific Coast and Golden West regions, California, Nevada. And I'm now the director of membership growth for the fraternity. So I run the fraternity's recruitment program. So what that involves is I facilitate all of our recruitment visits to chapters. Last year we did about 65 visits where we sent staff members on site to chapters and trained chapter recruitment. And we produced about a double growth rate of our all-chapter average growth rate initiations. I also coordinate all of our online resources and remote resources that we provide to chapters for recruitment, as well as our Pike University of Recruitment Education, just like this session that we're doing here today. I also have a special guest with me, Kurt Shuffler.
Yeah, sure. My name is Kurt Shuffler, 2003 initiate of Epsilon Eta chapter at the University of Houston. I worked at headquarters for about 3 years as a chapter consultant and as the director of growth and marketing. Left staff in 2010, and since then got my MBA, and now I'm working for a consulting firm in Houston. I'm here as an alumnus facilitator, I guess you could say. And I have to say I really enjoy coming back and helping out at these events, meeting people, answering questions, trading stories. It's really invigorating, to be honest. So I feed off your energy. If you have questions, let us know, and let's make this as much of a conversation as we can, because a lot of you guys have good ideas and good perspective too. So glad to be here.
Excellent. Thank you, Kurt. That's right, guys. What we're going to cover in these benchmark sessions are the fundamentals of recruitment and the how-to of recruitment. And like Kurt said, we want this to be interactive. If you guys have questions, if you want us to expand on something we're speaking about, if you think we're full of shit, and you want to say something or say a different opinion, please raise your hand. We'll call on you, we'll have a discussion, and we're going to work through some good, really solid topics. And at the end of the day, today, you'll leave knowing the foundation of Pike recruitment. at the end of tomorrow's session, the second benchmark session, you should leave with not only the knowledge of how recruitment works, but specifically what you need to do in order to be successful. And our goal is to equip you with that information and those skills so that you can go back to your chapter, and this fall you can implement them to have the best fall recruitment that your chapter's ever had. So we've got this session essentially broken up into two parts. For the media, we're not doing fancy PowerPoint type of stuff. We're not showing you guys videos. We might have one, that's about it. All we're going to do is follow along with the book here so you guys know where we're at. Does anybody now have one of these? Everybody get one? Cool. If you guys want to take more, we've got extras. So if you want to give one to one of your chapter brothers or whatever, or if you want me to send you the electronic file, just come with me afterwards and let me know, or grab the book yourself. So we're going to be covering, all this is following along in the book. And the reason why we're doing that, why we don't have a bunch of fancy visualizations, is we want to give you guys real usable material. We want to have a solid discussion about recruitment and impart upon you guys the knowledge of recruitment that Pike has used for years and years that has proven effective. So we've got this broken up into two parts. Part one, today, we're going to talk for the next 45 minutes or so about some core concepts of Pike recruitment. This is titled Why Pike is Number One. Pike is known as the leading recruitment fraternity among the fraternity world. Particularly when we start new chapters, our staff members will go to a campus in 5 weeks. We will go from not knowing a single person on that campus to having an active running colony, which is essentially a chapter that's just not initiated yet. An active organization, a fraternity that is very often the largest on campus, often has the highest GPA on campus, and typically will have key campus leaders like varsity athletes, student government presidents, stuff like that. And we're known to the fraternity world because nobody else does that. So we have the science, we know exactly how to do that, how that works, and what works to enable us to be able to do that. And that's what we're going to teach you guys. So part one is why we do that, and the ideas that go behind it, the ideas that drive those actions that we do. Part two is going to be the how-to. So tomorrow, you guys are going to come back at 2 o'clock, same room, 2 to 3:30. We're going to have a longer session, and we are going to train you guys on exactly how to recruit the kind of man that you want to recruit. We're going to go through all the specifics, what to say, how to say it, what to say to your chapter brothers, how to train them, how to motivate them. We're going to cover the tactics of it. Part one is the strategy, part two is the tactics. Does that make sense? Does that sound like stuff that you guys want to learn?
Yeah.
All right, good. I like it. This guy, who was that? This guy's fired out, whoever it was. Good. That was pretty fun. Okay. So first of all, let's back up here actually. Somebody tell me, how do you know what the best fraternity on your campus is? They're named Pike. That fortunately is true a lot of the time, but I'm going to tell you something. You guys might not know since you're new, colony members here. Just being a Pike, or just being Pike, does not make you the best fraternity on campus. And if you think that because you're an initiated member of Pike, or because you're a colony member of Pike, or because you're allowed to wear a Pike K on your chest, if you think that makes you a cool guy, or you think that those letters make you automatically more successful, get that out of your head right now. This is not true. We have number one chapters at campuses all across the United States. It's not just because they're Pike. It's because we have high-quality men filling the ranks of those chapters. And those high-quality men have grouped together and created a winning organization. So this stuff doesn't come from Pike. Being a Pike is awesome. I was very fortunate in that I happened to go to a campus with a great Pike chapter and get recruited, and here I am today. However, Pike, me being a Pike, didn't make me an awesome person. I don't sit here and think, man, I'm Pike, so I must be great. My goal is to make Pike better every single day. And that's how we become great. We make Pike better. We do that by recruiting more better men. So thank you for bringing up the point. That was good. So what do you guys think makes the best fraternity on your campus? How do you know? How do you know which fraternity is the best? Size? Okay. Intramurals. They would probably win sports, right? Girls? What kind of girls do they hang out with? Reputation, right? What's their reputation? You walk on campus and you hear, man, Sigma Chi, they're the best. They get the hottest girls that win sports. They're the best. They're the fraternity. Probably going to assume they are, right? If you're a freshman, you don't know any better. So that's right. The reputation. Now the reputation is built on a lot of the things that you guys said. And I was glad to hear those. It sounds like you guys were paying attention in Kurt's session last night. Your reputation is built on 5 external criteria. Size, appearance, athletics, campus power, social preference. Size, appearance, sports, campus power, social preference. How many of you guys were in Kurt's session last night? Most, okay. So we don't need to go too in-depth into this. But when I said, how do you tell what the best fraternity on campus is, the first answer I got from over here was size. Why do you guys think that's important? It's more appealing? Why? Shows that people like it, they want to be in it, right? Nobody wants to be a part of the group. What's going to be that good?
It's really good for networking in the sense that the more people you have, the more people they know, so all those people will be familiar with Pike, and they'll be easier to help recruit more guys.
Strength in numbers, it's visual. It's visual.
You have more resources to have that more people.
Right, you got more guys to do all the other things. It's a historical indication of power. You were in another session earlier tonight, or earlier yesterday too, weren't you? So you either heard it or you said, maybe you were the one who said it. All right, last one.
You can market yourself better on campus.
Right, all of these things, you're going to market yourself better. You're more visible. When you're large, people see you. If you are the best fraternity, but nobody knows who you are, how can you have the best reputation? Can't, possible. So size equals power. All throughout history, size equals power. It's visual. It's strong. Appearance. Why do you guys think this is important for reputation?
Well, I mean, you can have a 200-man chapter, but if they all come over with shit, that kind of degrades them.
Right.
It's just recruiting anyone.
Right. You got a 200-man chapter, but what's your name?
Sam.
As Sam so eloquently put it, if it looks like 200 pieces of shit, are people going to think it's a great fraternity? Probably not. So appearance is important. Do any of you guys think this sounds superficial or weird to talk about how guys look? Somebody must. A little bit. Well, it is. And for those of you guys that heard Kurt talk last night, he can tell you from real-world experience, as a consultant, as a business management consultant in the professional world, appearance is important. Whether you like it or not, people do judge other people by how they look, how they're dressed, how their hair is cut, how their facial hair looks, all those things. And people make quick judgments, and they have to because they meet a lot of people. And that's just what human beings do. We short circuit those processes so we can be more efficient at it. So the way that you look is important, and it's doubly important because the way that you look is going to attract those same kind of men. Horses are going to recruit horses. Asses are going to recruit asses. You guys look like a bunch of asses. What are you going to get?
A bunch of asses.
That's right. You look sharp, clean, athletic. What are you going to get? Same kind of guys. Okay, you guys get it. Okay. Athletics. Why do you guys think that's important for reputation? What's that? Right. So if you're winning sports, most athletic people win sports. That's true. Why is that important to your reputation?
Everyone wants to be the best, and everyone wants to be on the winning side. So to show them that, Pike's the best, we win everything. Everyone's going to want to be a part of it.
Right, people want to be a part of something that wins. Athletics are one of the few things that we do as fraternities that's completely quantifiable. You guys go on the basketball court and you're playing Sigma Chi in basketball, and you smoke them. Anybody in here dunk? You got a couple? Okay. We got a couple. So Evan's playing Sigma Chi in basketball. He dunks on them 5 times in the game. Pike wins by 25 points. All the sorority girls saw was the intramural championship. Afterwards, Sigma Chi going to say, well, it's a pretty good game. It's pretty close. It's kind of up to opinion. I'd say we might have actually played better than Pike did. Hell no, you guys lost. You got smoked, in fact. Evan was dunking on you. You got slam dunked on in front of everybody. You lose. Pike wins. It's one of the very few quantifiable characteristics of a winning fraternity. So that's why it's important. All right, campus power. Why is this important?
It's trouble. It's a protection for the university.
Okay. Keeping you out of trouble, sometimes that can happen, sure. What about your reputation? Why is it good for your reputation? Why is it important?
Shows power of good rebound on campus, actions that the student body does, and
Right, if you have the prominent figures on campus, if I'm a freshman, I'm walking around campus and I see that student government president, that I see that quarterback on the football team who threw the game-winning touchdown last Saturday. I see him walking around campus Monday wearing Pike letters. Pike's got to be good, right? You're going to associate. People will associate every single member that they see, even if it's only one person, with Pike. They might only meet one guy, but to them, that's what Pike is. To every single member's appearance and their status matters. Lastly, social preference. We already talked about this a little bit. You guys know what this is. The kind of women and the kind of the kind of sorority women that essentially are hanging out with you. The best fraternities on campus are pretty clearly identifiable by the type of people that they surround themselves, particularly in the sororities. Everyone else is going to see that.
All right, guys. I actually just wrote a few things down, kind of listening to the different things people are saying. I had a little bit of a revelation, which is kind of crazy, because I've been working with these concepts for a solid, 8 years. And a lot of the things that are written in here literally were written 30 years ago, but they're still highly relevant. But I just kind of learned something new hearing everyone talk about this. And I wrote down one word next to each one of these 5 external criteria. Okay? Next to size, I wrote magnetism. You guys can write this down if you want. It'll make more sense in a second. Next to appearance, I wrote care. Athletics was competitive. Next to campus power, I wrote visibility. And next to social preference, I wrote likability. And all 5 of these words were kind of the answer to the question of, what's in it for me? When I'm talking about all of these things, what's in it for me as a person, for our organization, when it comes to these characteristics? Size, magnetism. Okay? If you demonstrate that you have magnetic personality, you've got charisma, you're doing the right things, other people are going to be attracted to that. That's why size is a good thing. Appearance. I am actually real hesitant about trying to sound like you're too superficial. Like, when Kevin asked that question, is that superficial? I was sitting over there in the corner nodding. Well, yeah, it is. It does sound superficial. But the reason why it does matter is because it demonstrates that you care about yourself, that you take care of yourself, and therefore you are more likely to take care of your business, of someone else's business. So it demonstrates care. That's why it's important. Athletics, we used to always say, not everyone is going to be able to dunk. I actually dream about dunking still. I wake up every once in a while, every few weeks, and I'm like, damn, dude, I dunked yesterday. I'm going to go to the gym today. That's all I'm going to do for 3 hours. Oh, wait, I was dreaming. This happened again. This is embarrassing. Not everyone can do it, all right? I don't care if you're an athlete or a mathlete. What I'm looking at is competition. You have that drive. So I think that's what athletics demonstrates. Campus power demonstrates visibility, okay? Someone who's a student body president makes 500 impressions a day of all the people he sees, meets with, people who see his name, people who notice him. Whereas the regular person, it's far less. So you get visibility. And then social preference, it's likability, guys. Everyone wants to be liked. If you're socially preferred, that just feels good. It's good for you personally, it's good for the rest of your organization. And it's not just from the sororities, it's from other people around you, it's from your peers, you want respect. So, I don't know, those are 5 things that I kind of wrote down next to it, and hearing you guys talk about it kind of made me realize that. So I wanted to share that. Moving on, this self-assessment. We're not going to go through every single line item, but start to fill some of this out as we talk about it. Essentially, the idea is this, guys. It's hard to figure out where you're going if you don't know where you already are. If you have a roadmap that has a big X on it where the buried treasure is, well, you better figure out where to start first. So this is what it helps us do. And the most important thing about this self-assessment, guys, is be honest and cite facts. For example, under average fraternity size and current chapter size, for example, don't just be like, oh yeah, I mean, the average fraternity size is like 45, and yeah, we've got 60, so we're like number 1. Dude, go look at the stats. They're listed on your probably IFC website. You can get them from your IFC advisor, I promise. Look at what the numbers say. You'll be surprised oftentimes. Ooh, yeah, we're not at 60, I forgot. Like 10 guys graduated last year. That happens. We're actually at like 49, and the average size is like 48. So we're kind of middle of the pack when you look at the numbers. Go look this stuff up, right? Some of these are pretty specific. Chapter size 4 years ago, chapter size 2 years ago. If you don't have that information, don't stress over it. Just fill out the things that you do know. Most recent new member class size for the fall and spring versus number initiated. Again, find exact numbers here. You want to see out of how many people that we're bidding, how many are we retaining and actually initiating. Because I'll tell you right now, if you're bidding 50 guys and initiating 20 or 25, that's not good. Your selection process sucks, or your pledge education process sucks because you're not retaining good guys that you thought were worthy of receiving a bid. Take a look at what those numbers actually say. Okay, percentage of male students, percentage of Greek students. I'll say this about percentage of Greek students. Typically, people's perceptions are way off. If you have like a very strongly entrenched like Greek system at a small school, 50% Greek involvement is like unheard of, crazy high. Okay, most Greek involvement is more like maybe 5%. At many campuses, it's like 1% or even less sometimes. So go look that number up, because then you know what kind of sample size you're working with, right? And all of a sudden, you realize, wait, only 1% of my campus is Greek right now. And we literally have 12,000 males. Let's say 10,000. There are 10,000 males on my campus and only 1,000 are in fraternities. Out of those other 9,000, what the heck? I mean, you're telling me you can't be a 100-man chapter of absolute great guys, of studs, scholars, leaders, athletes, gentlemen? I mean, come on. So go look those stats up. Find out what the numbers say. Okay? Do you have a year-round recruitment program? Someone tell me real quick what the indications of a year-round recruitment program are. If you were at the talk last night, you should have an answer.
24/7, 365.
Okay, that's one part of it. What does that mean?
All year round, summertime, wintertime.
Okay, yeah, so we throw recruitment events like every week or what? Okay, perfect. So whatever you're doing, invite recruits, all of a sudden it's a recruitment event. That's a recruitment culture where your guys know, because every week the recruitment chairman, even once rush is over, is standing up and saying, hey, I'm already building the green book for next semester. Dude, we just had bid day 2 days ago. I know. Shut up. Give me those names. We're still in that recruitment culture. Maybe that only takes 5 minutes a chapter meeting now instead of 30, but you're still doing it because this is part of your recruitment culture. Okay? Be honest with yourself about whether you have that or not and what you need to do to get it. If so, describe it. If not, why not? Let's go to the next page. IT consultant over here. Who are the top 3 fraternities on your campus and what are they known for? What is each one's image? Again, be honest with yourself. Okay? Err on the side of being hard on Pike. It doesn't do you any good to just skim through this and be like, oh yeah, Pike's number 1. And we're known for being best looking, most athletic, and just generally awesome. Dude, you're wasting your time. You're wasting everyone else's time. Write down something meaningful. And in fact, should you ask other chapter members? Or what's the alternative? Go online for what? Okay, look up stats. Maybe, what am I getting at though? Should you ask yourself or other people? Right? Okay. Oh, well, Pike thinks we're the best. We rank ourselves number 1. Yeah, everyone else ranks you number 8, as it turns out. Okay? Whose opinion is more important whenever you're trying to recruit other people into your organization? So have this conversation with maybe some sorority women that you know that you trust. Have this conversation with recruits during like an interview process. Hey, what do you know about Pike? What have you heard? What brought you here? You'll get some good insight. Okay. Where does your chapter rank if not in the top 3? Let's see. Do you lose recruits to these fraternities? That should make you angry. Should make you upset. If you identify a guy that you know has the characteristics we look for and he joins another fraternity, you absolutely should take it personally. If you check yes next to that one, which it does happen, write the guy's name down. Use that as inspiration if you have to. Vow that you'll never let it happen again. Actually, I think back to my time as an undergrad, there were 2 guys we were recruiting. It was the heyday of Pike in my chapter. We had already, ridden a rocket ship on the top of the campus. We had just won the Dual Award. And there were 2 guys that we meant to bid. We thought they were sharp and they really wanted to be Pikes, but we forgot their names. True story. They're friends of mine to this day. They're Pike Alpha Phi's now. They get drunk every once in a while. They're like, hey man, I really wanted to be a Pike. I'm like, I'm really sorry. We just forgot your names. I mean, and we joke about it now, but man, those 2 guys are having successful careers now because of a stupid mix-up. Okay? If you're losing recruits to other fraternities, take note of it. Don't let it happen again. Attributes, chapter GPA. Okay, where does your chapter rank? Again, these stats are available online. It's very measurable. Similar to what Kevin was saying about athletics. Okay, very measurable. Did you have more points than the other team when time expired, or did you not? Was your GPA a 3.1 or was it a 2.3? These things are very easy to understand. They do matter. GPA is an indication of your ability to earn money after you graduate. It is important. Don't just let it slide and ignore it. Measure it, talk about it every semester, and you'll be amazed. Just by measuring it, it gets more attention. Just by talking about it at chapter meeting, and you do a review at the first meeting of the semester and say, hey, these were our grades this past semester. We need to do better. All of a sudden, you've now made a statement. This is important to us. Now it gets more attention, just because you measured it. Athletics, last year's intramural ranking, I got to tell you this. I've gone through these chapter assessments with chapters several times before, and this has happened several times, and it's kind of funny. Hey, what's Pike's reputation on campus? Oh, we're scholars, leaders, athletes, gentlemen. We're like the Josh, we're the athletic guys on campus. Okay, we keep going through it. Hey, so what was your rank in intramurals last year? Oh, man, I don't remember. What were we? Oh, well, if you can't remember, you definitely weren't first. You're sitting here talking all this noise about how you're the athletic fraternity because you wrote it on a t-shirt, okay? But you didn't take time to register for all the sports you wanted to register for. You didn't total up the points that you were supposed to total up. And because they got more points from badminton, racquetball, and indoor soccer, you didn't get that trophy at the end of the year. That should piss you off. Be honest with yourself, okay? If you're the athletes that you claim you are, you should be organized enough to be able to play these sports, win the championships, have that hardware, okay? I promise you, it's a lot more fun when you do it that way. Okay, let's see. Do you appoint your recruitment chairman? Does anyone here have elections for their recruitment chairman? Okay, let's talk about this for a second. We generally recommend against that. Our recommendation is that you put faith in your chapter president to choose the guy that should be the recruitment chairman. And the reason is because recruitment shouldn't be a democratic process, to be honest. When it comes to the chapter leadership, things like president, treasurer, all of that, It's important for it to be democratic. Okay? They're the ambassador for the chapter. When it comes to recruitment, things move so quickly, you just need someone who is kind of the man in charge. So he needs to be appointed by the president. Okay? You don't want it to be a popularity contest either. If you have your choice of two candidates, one is a really awesome talker, okay, very popular. People say, oh, he's a great recruiter. You have another guy who's just a workhorse, not as good at talking to people, but man, he's a workhorse. He gets a lot done. Who are you going to choose as your recruitment chairman? Okay. Workhorse is the correct answer. Many of you know that because you've been to these sessions. Now, who is your chapter going to vote for? Talker. Of course they are. Okay? That's what they think good recruitment is. Well, you know better. This is why it's highly recommended that you appoint the recruitment chairman as opposed to elect him. Okay? Do you have a recruitment committee and recruitment captains? I've seen a lot of really good recruitment chairmen out there, guys, but you can't do it yourself. It takes time to invest on the front end and train a committee, but you need to build your team. We won't go into this in detail right now because we don't have time, but this is one of the most crucial things. You have to build your team. You need a recruitment committee.
We're going to talk about it tomorrow too, and how to build it.
Perfect. Okay. So let's go ahead and move down to ranking 5 by competitive criteria. Again, you could do this ranking on your own. You can be honest, or if you want, bring in a third party, get their opinion on how they think you do, especially on things like social preference and appearance. Moving on to the next page. Oh, I'm sorry, that's really the end of it, isn't it? Okay. Do you guys have any questions on this? I mean, do you think this is valuable? Be honest. If you were to take 15 minutes with your executive committee or recruitment committee, do you think this would be a valuable exercise? It's okay if the answer is no. Raise your hand if you think yes. Okay, so you've all now committed to me that you think it's valuable, so go freaking do it. All right? Don't just be like, yeah, Kurt, it's really valuable. It's really valuable. Definitely going to do that. All right? You want to go to the bar? You know, take this stuff and just do it as soon as you get home. Do it on your way home. If you're driving, sit there in the car and fill out as much of it as you can, because it's very reflective and it really will help you understand where you are and help you in goal setting moving forward. Cool?
All right, guys, so we've spoken about what the best fraternities on campus look like, what that means, and how that reputation is laid out. And with the self-assessment, you can compare yourself against the other fraternities. For the last 15, 20 minutes here, we're going to talk about the pipe recruitment concepts. Those were the concepts of what the best fraternities look like and what you need to do, what you need to look like to have the reputation of the best fraternity. Now we're going to quickly go through the foundation of how Pike does this over and over and over again at the campuses that we have checked at. So on page 7, the first part, recruitment philosophy. I know you can't read it up here, it's a little blurry, just so you guys know what page we're on. We're on 7. Somebody read this to me.
Like recruitment philosophy, our fraternity views recruitment not as an easy event, but a vehicle to actually strategically recruit the best. Given this, our philosophy is the following. Quote, my kind of office strives to recruit the most best men. Through recruiting those outstanding men, we enable ourselves to be competitive.
Thank you. Through recruiting the most outstanding men, we enable ourselves to become the ideal fraternity. We strive to recruit the most best men. If you have 5 great guys in your new member class every year, say you have 4 years, you got about 25-man chapter. Let's say you have a 25-man chapter of awesome guys. Do you think that you can compete with a 90-man chapter of awesome guys? Never. You need the highest amount of high-quality men you can get. So somebody fill in the blanks for me. Blank and blank are not mutually exclusive.
In other words, quantity and quality are not mutually exclusive.
Quantity and quality are not mutually exclusive. I cannot tell you guys how many times I've heard from fraternity men, We were lazy last year. We really want to get the best guys this year, so we're only giving out 10 bids this fall. That is bullshit. When I hear that, I am positive that the 10 men that they sign are not going to be the 10 best men on campus. If you're going for a cap maximum of 10, I know what they're going to do. They're going to sit around. They're going to sign the first 10 guys that show interest. They're going to say, hey, we were really selective. We only took 10 guys. Got to spend 10 best guys on campus. Maybe they'll talk to 15 or 20 and then sign 10. So at best, maybe they'll take the top 50% of the guys that we're looking at. Whereas when I go to chapters that are the clear-cut best on campus, they're signing 30, 40, 50 man new member classes in the fall. They're not signing up the first 50 guys that walk in the door. They're talking to 300, 400 men. And then they're signing the best 20%, the best 10% of those. Give you guys an example of this. So we have it right here, our new colony at Arizona State. How many colony members are there right now?
At the max.
How many did you start with?
We started with 200, and now we're down to 172.
Started at 200. Yeah, you got something.
Oh,
So they started at 200 men. Now, they probably don't know the answer to this, but how many guys do you think were in that green book? How many names do you think the consultants?
630.
630 names. They do know. So our staff members went to Arizona State and got the names and phone numbers and talked to 630 men. And then they signed less than 30% of that. And they got the biggest fraternity in this organization, the biggest fraternity at that campus. That might be the biggest fraternity. 200 might be the biggest in the country. I don't know. Maybe it's a really big three campuses.
In Florida State is the biggest in the league.
Okay, so Florida State might be a little bigger, regardless. They took less than 30%, the guys they were talking to, and they got 200 men with the highest GPA on campus, with varsity athletes, with men that were involved on campus. So this stuff's possible, guys. There is no quantity versus quality. It's a complete limiting belief to think that somehow having fewer men in your chapter is going to mean that they're better. They're not. The two are unrelated. In fact, if the quantity of men that you talk to and the quantity of men in your green book is higher, all that means is that you're going to have a higher quality and you're going to have more.
How many people do you recommend taking per new class based on the number of people already in the chapter? So for instance, we're a chapter of about 50 people. How many people do you think should be able to take?
Okay, so the question is, chapters at 50, how many people do you think they should take?
As many as they can.
As many guys as they can?
Yeah.
As many as they can handle.
As many as they can handle? Anybody have a different idea?
All the slides we're going.
All the slags they find. Somebody put it a little differently for me. Somebody say 15 to 20.
As many as they want. I mean, if you can handle 50 guys, they're all great guys. You're going to take them all. That's the guy on behind them, a good guy.
If you can handle 50, they're all great. Take them all. What else?
No set number. You should never want to turn down a good guy that you know will take your house.
Why would you stop? If you have 30 new members and they're all high quality men, they've got high GPAs, they're leaders, they're the kind of guys you're looking for, and the 31st guy comes up, he had a 4.0 GPA in high school, he was a three-sport varsity athlete, he's got a smoking hot girlfriend that's rushing a sorority. Why would you not take it? Right? That's ridiculous. So, you want to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to kind of react to something that was said. I think it's important. It's a common question. You in the classes you said as many as you can handle, and this is a very common thing to say. And I absolutely hear where chapters are coming from when they say that. They say, "Hey, we're only a chapter of 50 guys. We can't handle a pledge class of 30, 40 guys." Okay. Now, if we took that analogy to the corporate world, okay, you've got a small business you're running, and you're looking at a potential book of orders that's going to triple your revenue, and you're saying, "Man, we can't handle this many orders." What does your business do? You reorganize. You hire more people. You flip out. Do whatever it is you can to make it happen. So if you're looking at 50 guys and questioning whether you can handle it under your current organization and way of doing business and your current new member program, change your new member program. If these are 50 sharp guys, and these are guys that you're going to be proud to be affiliated with for the rest of your life, damn man, you're talking about 50 years worth of benefits versus this little short-term pain of, can the organization handle it? And I mean, it's a good concern. I mean, it's actually a very valid concern. But this is kind of the way I would look at it if I were you. Like, there should be no limit. And if you're going to change one or the other, either take less people or change the organization, I say. So that's my take on it.
I agree. If you have the opportunity to take high-quality men, it's take versus don't take. What do? You take them, plain and simple.
I agree, but wouldn't the fraternity run into a lot of trouble when one pledge class is dominating elections and everything like that?
If they're all high-quality men, what's the trouble?
If you don't like them, yeah, it's a problem. But if you like them, then hopefully you're recruiting guys you like, you know.
My only thing on that is the first year, obviously, having 40 men for 50 chapter would be upsetting, or be hard to handle. Then next year, you get another 40 man. Pretty soon, you're a 100-man chapter, and it all balances out on the road. So it's just you have to put in the work right away to think your chapter is successful in the next 6, 7, 8, 9 years.
That's right. That's a good point. And here's the thing, guys. I'm not going to lie to you and say, yeah, if you recruit a new member class that's as big as your active chapter, it's going to be a breeze. No, that's a lot of people to manage. There's a lot of stuff going on. That's a lot of bandwidth. And it is going to take some work. And things might be a little bit rocky trying to organize all those people if you don't have the systems in place to do that already. But here's the thing. You put in the work, you make it happen. You deal through maybe a little bit of disorganization, a little bit of chaos or whatever, things that are a little different for a little while. And then as a result, your fraternity becomes twice as good. You think that's a worthwhile trade-off?
Then how would we go about preparing to take a huge class like, because, I mean, the way I think, like, all right, if you were to go and say taking 30, 40 kids as a 50-man chapter, how would we prepare for them eventually getting in and what process and just working with the chapters and do what else needs to be done on top of just.
Right, absolutely. So that's going to deal more with new member education, and I'm happy to talk to you guys about that afterwards. We can also sit down with some other staff members and help you guys with the plan. So come see me afterwards. I'll make that happen. All right, let's keep cruising here. Does everybody get the high quality men concept? It's not too difficult, especially when you put it in business terms, like Kurt said. Like, if you have good customers that want to give you money, you figure out a way to take their money, right? All right, enough on that. Pike recruitment formula. Formula is a time-tested, factual description of the reasons why men join college fraternities. The formula states the recruit will join the best fraternity he can find, where he believes he has the most friends. Kurt talked about this a lot last night, so we're not going to go too much into it. But we're going to cover more tomorrow of how to make friends. But keep in mind, what you're talking about is Pike. When you do the self-assessment, you see, is Pike the best, or maybe some other fraternities are the best. That's useful knowledge for you to tell what type of man you want to recruit. But keep in mind, to most non-Greek people, they have no clue who the best fraternity is. They're going to see how the guys look. They're going to see how the guys treat them. And then they're going to join a fraternity where they have friends. That's it. If a guy has, you guys could be, some of you may be bottom tier on your campus. If you're in a chapter that's 9th place out of 10 fraternities, and you got a guy who goes to a #1 fraternity rush event and makes friends with 0 or maybe 1 guy, and then he goes to a Pike event or comes to the Pike house and hangs out and makes friends with 10 Pikes, if all his friends are Pikes, what's he going to want to do? He wants to be a Pike, of course. So we're going to talk more about how to specifically do that later. Poker theory. Poker theory is a concept where Greek systems are predictable. And it's an analogy to poker. So if you're playing Texas Hold'em here in Memphis, maybe we're playing, you guys are playing a game of Hold'em, whatever. Say you play a game of Texas Hold'em with your chapter brothers in your hotel room tonight. And let's say you're from Syracuse, and you get a guy from Texas that comes, and Syracuse and Texas are playing together. Are they going to have to cover the ground rules of Texas Hold'em first? No, it's the same everywhere, right? The rules are the same. The Greek system, the fraternity recruitment specifically, is the same everywhere. Now, this does not mean that the recruitment rules are the same. IFCs have different rules. Some campuses have formal rush, some campuses have open recruitment. Some allow girls at rush events, some don't. That stuff varies. But what does not change is what works. These concepts, making friends, recruiting a high number of quality men, recruiting men that have the qualities you're looking for, recruiting men based on how you present yourself, and then making those types of friends, the guys that you want, and building personal relationships with them to get them to join your fraternity, that works everywhere. So don't worry about where you're from with this stuff. The stuff that we talk about, you can use it regardless of what rules your campus might have. Because the fact is, this is simply an association of men joining other men. That's all a fraternity is. It's the same everywhere. Men are going to join other men. And so once again, tomorrow we're going to talk about specifically how to do that. But don't worry if your campus might be really unique, or your campus Greek life is really small, or your campus school is really strict. That's okay, because the things that we're going to teach you are principles that work everywhere, just like the rules require me. Last couple things, social Newtonism. This is essentially the idea that fraternities don't want to do what other fraternities do. You guys ever see, like, at your campus, another fraternity does something, maybe they serenade a sorority. They go to a sorority out and sing to them. No fraternity's ever done it before. And somebody stands up as bike chapter and is like, hey man, Beta serenaded Kappa Delta. They sang this song, and I think we should do something like that. That's really cool. And then one of the chapter members stands up and says, dude, Betas are cheese dicks. We don't want to do what they do. You guys ever experienced this? We don't want to be like the other fraternities, man. They're late. We're the winners. And they'll say it even if it's a good idea. So that's what fill in the blank is here. There's a tendency for fraternities to avoid actions that closely resemble the actions of other fraternities, even if those actions work. Even if those actions are good ideas or produce results. And don't fall into this trap. Almost everybody that's successful at anything in the world took somebody else's idea and made it better. Thomas Edison invented the light bulb based on a bunch of other ideas of people trying to do something similar that he saw, and he perfected it. All right, almost anything that works is a variation on an already existing model that just gets changed and made better. So if you see another fraternity doing something that works, do it better. Lastly, the recruitment culture. The culture is a defined set of shared beliefs, attitudes, and values and behavior that characterizes an institution or an organization. In Pike, our culture is that recruitment is everything, and that it involves everyone and everything. Recruitment is everything. Everything we do is geared towards recruiting better men. Because here's the thing, guys. You might be thinking, there's all these other aspects of the fraternity. There's recruitment, but then there's also community service, there's philanthropy, there is our new member education, there's our relationships with the sororities, there's our relationships with the universities, our relationships with our alumni, all those things. But here is what a lot of Greek organizations don't realize, or they fail to realize, or they fail to believe, is that if you succeed at recruitment, if you recruit a high number of high quality men, every single one of those other areas will be more successful as well. If you have better men, you're going to be better at sports. You're going to have more guys that do community service. You're going to have more impressive men that impress the university and that the best sororities want to spend time with. You see the pattern here? The best men in the chapter will figure out how to make those things work. It's going to happen organically. So if you want to improve quickly, make recruitment everything. And the other things are going to fall into place. Probably go about 10 more minutes.
Yeah, let's go quick. Okay, guys, I'm going to go through this thing called the eye diagram pretty quickly. This is essentially based in statistics, guys, and sociology. I'm not going to geek out on you too much, but are many of you familiar with the normal distribution? Okay? Take a look at these percentages here, and they kind of line up with that, all right? Generally speaking, you take a population of people. Let's say we're talking about height, okay? You have a normal distribution, a probability distribution. The center of that, let's say between 5'5" and 6'2", that's 68% of the population, okay? That's this middle pack. That's where most fraternities are going to fall. Then you have that upper tail, okay? That upper 13.5% of your distribution. Those are the top tier fraternities. It's a small bunch. They're probably tight-knit. They're probably friends with each other. It's probably hard to tell which one's number one a lot of times. And then on the other tail, you have your acknowledged followers, your guys that are struggling. They might get shut down any year. You know, they clearly are on the outside looking in. And this is true at any campus, okay? Generally speaking, Pike does a great job at being, you know, in the top group here, your top 13% or so, 20% on whatever campus. But there are a lot of times where things slip, okay? Maybe you're in the everyone else. And every year there's a couple Pike chapters that get shut down, okay? We don't sit there and blast, you know, PR about it and press releases, but it happens. So there are groups that are even in the recognized followers. But once again, take a look at your chapter self-evaluation and where are you? You know, your strategies and recruitment might be different and your message might be different based on where you're at. If you're at the top, it might be, hey, those guys are nipping at our heels. We better make sure we're keeping our current pipelines of recruits full, that we'll keep on doing the same things we're doing and don't lose that enthusiasm. If you're in the everyone else, you need to pick out one of those groups up top that you're chasing and pace them, you know? Let's say like you're running cross country. What do? You pace the guy that's in the lead, and then you just kind of dig deep, get motivated, try and pass him up during the last quarter line. Okay? So take a note of where your chapter is in this distribution. It generally holds for every campus. And kind of use that as fuel for how you talk to the chapter and how you set your goals. Yeah, just be honest with yourself, like I said at the bottom. Maybe do this right after you do your chapter self-evaluation. Figure out exactly where you are, and then also take all the other fraternities on your campus and place them on this diagram too, so that you know who you're competing against and know who to benchmark against. And you'd be surprised. Again, once you start measuring these things and talking about them, it'll help motivate you. You know, you get what you measure. So this is, you know, another useful exercise to do in the form of self-evaluation.
All right, guys, at the bottom of page 8, it says, why be the best? We talk at great lengths about the fact that Pi Kappa Alpha expects every single one of our chapters to be the dominant fraternity on their campus. And that's true. We do expect every single one of you to be the best. This is a nonprofit organization, which means that 100% of the money the chapters pay to be a chapter of Pike, and 100% of the money that gets donated to this organization goes directly into making our chapters better. That's why we are here. That's why we hold Pike University. We want every single one, and we expect every single one of our chapters to be the best. However, I'm not here to tell you guys that you should be the best because I say so. The reason you should be the best is because it's beneficial for you. You can be selfish. That's okay. You can be selfish in this. If you are in a fraternity, chances are you're going to have a great college experience. Even if you're in the bottom tier fraternity, if you're in a fraternity and you have 20 guys and you don't really hang out with the best looking girls, you don't really win much, but you've got a bunch of close friends, you're probably going to have a better college experience than if you weren't Greek in most cases. Most people think that. And you're probably going to enjoy, if you're middle tier, you're going to have a good college experience. But here's the thing. It could be better. The best fraternities on campus, the ones that are elite, enjoy experiences in college and after college that are unique to those top groups. So I'm running through a couple of them real quick. Socials with the best sororities. Plain and simply, you're hanging out with better quality members. Does anybody need an explanation of why they think that would be enjoyable for themselves? Okay, good. better lifelong friends and memories. The chapters that are the best on their campuses tend to have more loyal lifelong members. A lot of times, I'll run into a chapter that maybe 40 guys, or maybe half the size of the biggest fraternity on campus, and they say, well, our brother is better. That's the stupidest qualifying factor I've ever heard. It doesn't matter if you have 40 or 80 guys. Your brother is going to be just as good. All right, I've seen it. And here's the maybe not so intuitive thing, or counterintuitive thing, is that typically the best chapters, which often are large, actually have more loyal alumni that remain close friends, maintain close friendships with their pledge brothers and their chapter brothers for the rest of their lives. More successful alumni. If you are in a better chapter, it means you've got better quality men. And if you surround yourself with better quality men, they're going to make more money after they graduate. They're going to become more successful. Kurt and I were just talking about this before the session started. Kurt just got his MBA. He's in the professional world. He's got a group of friends from his chapter who took their chapter from lower tier to the top. They're all successful now. They're all helping each other out. And they're all continuing to push each other to grow and make more money and have a better life. Even after years after college, years after you graduated. And I think I'm safe in saying that's going to continue for years to come, right? Excellent. So we're talking about a lifelong thing here, guys. If you improve your chapter now, if you recruit the best men on your campus into your fraternity, that is going to pay dividends to you for the rest of your life, to you personally. So this isn't about me. This isn't just about the fraternity. This can be about you specifically, being more successful professionally, having a better social life now and after college. All right, to wrap this up real quick, I'm going to talk about image a little bit, and Kurt's going to talk real briefly on name generation and give you guys some stuff to think about before we come back tomorrow. So image, thank you. On top of page 9, somebody, Kurt talked about this last night. What's this formula here? Image over time equals reality. So we talked a lot about image. We talked about the 5 external criteria. We talked about how your fraternity looks. Does it look powerful and large? Good-looking men who are dressing sharply, men who are winning sports. The reputation, all of those things. Well, the reason why that's important, guys, is not just so that we look good, so people think we're good, but the reason is because if you maintain an image over a period of time, it becomes true for 2 reasons. One, if you act a certain way over and over, what happens? It becomes habit. And that's who you are. Who you are as a person is the things that you do over and over. And 2, if you act a certain way consistently, what kind of recruits are you going to attract? The best, sure. But specifically, if you have a certain image, a certain reputation, we're almost done, Rick. We'll be out of here in 2 minutes. If you have a certain image and a certain reputation, you will attract people with the same image and the same reputation. That's exactly right. So if you have carried an image for 3 years and you recruit those same kind of guys for 3 years, guess what your chapter's made of? Those guys, exactly. So that's why this stuff is important. The rest of page 9, I'll let you guys look real quick, but I put the Pike Vision on there. I just want you guys, you don't do it now, take some time after this and really think about asking yourself this question. Is my chapter setting the standard on my campus in these criteria, in these things? Do other people look up to us for these different criteria? Because that's what it really means to be the best. All right, so we're going to take a couple quick minutes.
So one, I'll go just very quickly.
Yeah.
I'll make this very fast. All right, guys, we talked about this quite a bit yesterday. Someone tell me what the 2 fill in the blanks are at the top.
Quantity drives quality.
Quantity drives quality. Okay, we talked about this a lot last night. Okay, I want everyone to shout out what your recruitment goal for your chapter is this next year. Give me a goal for a number. 40, 25, 60. Okay. These are all good numbers, all right? Write that down in that box, your recruitment goal. Okay? So let's say 40. I think every chapter can and should be able to recruit at least 40 top quality men on any campus in a given year. All right? So if you want to initiate 40 quality men, multiply by that 2, that's 80. Multiply that by 2 again, that's 160. You need 160 names in your green book. Write that down. Multiply your number by 2 and by 2 again. Or you can multiply it once by 4. Okay? For those of you math majors, math photographers. Okay? Write that down. Talk to your chapter about that. Make that your goal right now. Now, I'll tell you right now, if you want to have 160 names in your green book, can you do it on your own? Heck no. And I'm not going to be the guy that stands up here and gives you this rah-rah speech about, you can do it. No, you can't do it. You will do a shitty job if you try and do it on your own. Okay? So you need help. What do you do to get help? Okay, you ask for help. You get referrals. Again, parallels from the business world. If I'm in sales, am I going to go out and just personally call on every single client? No, I'm going to ask good clients who other good clients are. Oh, hey, now we're cooking. Do the same thing with your recruits. Do the same things with sorority women. Do the same things with advisors. Do the same things with coaches. Ask them who the best men on campus are. They know better than you. They already have the relationships. And now, when you call that young man up and say, hey, we're interested in you coming out to one of our recruitment events, Sarah from AKIO said we should talk to you. She thinks a lot of you. Now it's a different ball game. It's not a cold call, it's a warm call. Referrals, guys. Referrals, referrals, referrals. Go find your dean's list. There's your first list of names. Go find your orientation list. Find your club sports. Sometimes they list their officers online. Talk to those guys. Referrals, referrals, referrals. Pump that in the green book, and then reference those people that referred them when you call them and talk to them. And you will increase your chances of signing that quality guy tenfold. That's how you generate names. Okay? Now that's the short version of it, but that's how quantity drives quality. Once you get them, put them in that green book. Put more than just their name and phone number. Okay? Put a couple quick notes up to remember who they are, and what they're all about, who referred you to them, okay, and what your next steps are. Does that make sense, guys? All right. Any questions on that note? We'll talk about it more during the next session. Kevin, do you have any last announcements?
Tomorrow, guys, same location, 2 p.m., 2 to 3:30. So today we talked about kind of the why we do what we do and what we're looking for. Tomorrow, we're going to talk specifically about how you can bring these men into your chapter. So be here. We're going to start on time. We're going to get into a lot of good stuff. You guys got to run over real quick.